One, two, three, and da 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 da. Today's the most important day of your life, and I have come to sing this song to you. You have been a friend on whom I can depend. No one's like you, and I am truly grateful. I hope you have joy and laughter through the year, and that this song will only bring to you the very best. Happy birthday. How else can I say I love you, my friend, on whom I can depend? Feliz cumpleaños, my friend. Happy birthday to you. We come to celebrate the love and life that's you, and all the wonderful things that you do. This day is your best. Now raise a glass and we'll attest to here's to you. May all your wishes come true. I hope you have joy and laughter through the year, and that this song will only bring to you the very best. Happy birthday. How else can I say I love you, my friend, on whom I can depend?
We wish her happy birthday. 90 and still moving. 90 and still working. 90 and still holding court. So I thank you. More people going to show up here. I'm not going to prolong this. Elizabeth, I think she's trying to find the master of ceremonies. He isn't here yet, so what we're going to do probably, where's Sterling? Sterling going to be? Okay. Sterling and Michael are going to fill those roles at this point in time. And so I will have them do that. And much more I can say, I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted from all the things that we have to do. Let me say this right up front. Elizabeth, Rhonda, Bernice Tucker have done a yeoman's job putting this together. Without them, I don't know how we would pull this off. I will thank them now, and I will thank them later. So be prepared. Okay, Dr. Sterling Johnson, Professor Emeritus at Central Michigan University.
My mom's my favorite person on the planet. She's my best friend for my life, and my daughter. So I'm blessed by it. Because that's what people on the planet with me. And now we are here celebrating. I don't know how we got to 90. But I'm glad we did. And you planned it to get to 90, but we just didn't know what your plans were. But you laid it out for us in the 50s. Always ambitious, always industrious, always knowing how to do it best, and always being an excellent example for your children, your neighbors, and your friends. She's got great mentors in life, I must say. I can mention some names, but without these mentors, I would have gone to college.
I was thinking, if you go to Vegas, and whoever's performing at Caesars
or any of those casinos, there's a name that shows up, and you don't even need the whole name. It's just if you go to Vegas and you see Diana, you know who you're going to hear. If you go to Vegas and you hear or see the name Beyonce, you know who you're going to see. But then I said, no, I'm not going to use that. There is a lady who I love very much, and she's been singing, and like how BET treated her the other night. But every time she shows up on stage, and I want y'all to help me, every time she shows up on stage, they keep saying, Patty, Patty, Patty. So today, guess what we're going to say? Helen, Helen, Helen. Happy birthday, Helen. Happy birthday. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, the Mayor of Brandon Scott, and we certainly would want to make sure that Helen knows that the city of Baltimore gives this your special day, and I wish you the very best, all the joy you can ever have, and may you be abundantly blessed today, tomorrow, and the days to come. May God bless and continue to keep you strong. Happy 90th birthday, the Mayor, Brandon Scott. It's wonderful. Thank you.
Everybody, my name is Judy, and I am Mother Dale's daughter. And I worked for Mother Dale for 8 years. She was my mentor for 8 years. And she taught me so much. I remember I was young when I first started. I came to work one day and she was like, you know, you should wear stockings.
I'm not sure. My sister-in-law lived in the city building where my mother was. And I would go there and see my sister-in-law, the place would be so decorated. I said, what are you doing all this stuff? They said, they live on the 4th floor. She had Brenda come and feed us every weekend. I said to my sister-in-law, does Brenda come feed y'all every weekend? She said, yeah. Every weekend she comes and feeds everybody. So I decided, I want to do something nice too. I said, I'm going to make a cake. So I made a £1 cake, took it to the 4th floor to Mel. Mom's carrot cake. And she called me, tell me at work, she said, there's a young lady here with a pound cake for you. And I want you to know, she did something, so I'm going to thank you. 2 days later, she called and said, Helen says, she needs 30 of them dead cakes. I said, well, she's not going to get 30 cakes. So I decided to go by her house and drop off a cake, a pound cake and a long cake on the porch. She saw me there, she said, you better be a cake by 8 that day, or put her. Anyway, I love it to death. I make cakes.
That we're all taking part in today. Happy birthday, many, many, many more. And I'm gonna be like her when I grow up. I'm gonna be quick though. Miss Helen is a giving person. And I'll tell you how deep it goes for her. When I met Miss Helen, I saw her on the camera before I saw her face to face. She would come with her mother, pick up Larry's mother, and Chesapeake Commons every Saturday morning. And we had enough automation that the time she hit the fence at the parking lot, I would meet her at the door downstairs, help her pick my Mabel into the car. She'd pick her mother and Miss Mabel for the Saturday outing for the girls. That's how I met her face to face. I had heard her reputation long before that because Larry kept saying, Lady B, you gotta come to the round table. Round table? Yeah, you gotta come. One time. Come on, Lady B, you gotta come to the round table. So after 6 months or so of saying, I'm gonna come, Larry, I'm gonna win. I hadn't stopped going yet. It's been about 15, 20 years ago.
My name is Laverne McElveen, and Mother Dale and I go back to the transit world. I was having challenges in my career with transit, racial challenges, and someone came to me one day and said, "You need to talk to Miss Helen Dale." I didn't know who she was, but I got her phone number. I called her, and at that time she was doing the round table, and she said, I'm serving food, but I will get back to you before the day's end. That day, it was a Sunday, Miss Dale called me back, and I know this has been 30 years ago, and I have been her son in actuality. I introduced myself to her son as his new brother that he didn't know. So, yeah, well, I knew Michael from way back, but yeah, I'm part of the family. I'm the brother that you didn't know. And so we've been family. And as a result,
Helen Dale has been very influential and supportive in my career. I opened all the light rail, all the light rail subway stations when they had the opening ceremonies. Helen employed me for all of the light rail stations.
It's Ruthie. Helen, I've been asking about you. I lost her some kind of way over the years, but I always asked about her. We worked at MTA together. I met Helen in around 1994, somewhere around there, around 94. I worked in the subway station, and she worked up in HR. And it was right above Lexington Station, and that was my station. And I don't know how I fell in with Helen and them up there. I was there more than I was with my workers down in the stations. I was on committees with them in HR. I just don't know, but she has that personality that pulls you in. But
good evening, everyone. Good evening. I want to say I met the debonair couple, Helen and Ray Dale, for an event more than 15 years ago. And one thing that touched my heart with them was that they invited us over for dinner, my husband and I. And she said, "Don't bring anything, just come." And when I got there, we weren't eating off of paper plates. No. We weren't drinking fruit punch. We were drinking wine. We were drinking mixed punch. And she kept extending the invitation. And her husband was always there at her side. When my husband got sick, and I wasn't coming to the round table, Sunday round table that we had, she would say, "Bring him." I said, "But he doesn't feel up to it." She said, "Bring him." And Grady was so gracious, and Helen was so gracious. And they fed us when we didn't have the money, when he didn't feel like eating. And right to the end, they stuck by us. And I just want to say, I am happy and elated to be able to be a friend of yours and your husband, and to have met your family, your grandkids, and all the people here. Because at the Sunday round table, that's where my husband got his strength when he was sick.
Great day.
This is a great day and an honor to celebrate Mom Helen. She's my other mother. Her name is on my birth certificate, like many of you. But I'm really happy to be a part of the celebration. And
I come over to join your round table, but my heart was with y'all. And I just want to tell Helen, I love her dearly. She is the best.
Neighbor, I'm her daughter, I'm her right hand, I'm all of that and then some. I believe that God puts people in your path for a reason. Sometimes we don't see it right away, but there's a reason for everything. I've been knowing Helen for as long as she's been in her house, because that's how long I've been in mine. And she has been nothing, her and Great have been nothing but a blessing to me.
And I am so appreciative of the opportunity to be here, to participate in this wonderful celebration of her, because I've had the pleasure of knowing her and the impact on my life, my brothers, my parents, and the extended family that we've always created. Blood is important, caring, and community sometimes pushes that boundary a lot further, and that's what we have here today. And Aunt Helen and Uncle Grady are what keeps us grounded and together. So I'm appreciative for the opportunity to be here, to meet everyone, and to
love story to tell, and I love you. And thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Michaela. Thank you, Brady. And thank you, family. Amen. I'm gonna put some how sweet. Now, here's the first thing.
You do.
Oh, wait. Oh, I'm looking for it. But the bottom works for Hershey. And you know
Great.
what I
Yeah.
take care of him.
They'll do the cake out.
That's a big slice. Great.
I'll take care of that. Then you have to first fry your cake.
Yeah.
Your 90th birthday. How do you feel?
I feel blessed, I feel happy, I feel healthy, I feel energized, and I am inspired by the outpouring of love that I've received today.
And what is the secret to longevity and having so many friends?
Well, you know, you are one of my many friends that I thank God for. And I think that in order to have a friend, you have to be a friend. And the people who are my friends, I am also theirs. And I just enjoy life, and I like to share it. And I like to share it with people like you and your husband. And you all were wonderful, and your show is a really, really inspiring occasion.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. What advice would you give to your friends and people like myself? What kind of advice would you give us in considering how things are today?
Well, things today appear to be really horrible, but things 20 years ago were not that good, and 50 years ago, and we don't want to go back 100 years ago. So when you're living through it, it's really challenging. But people like you and people like my granddaughter who is watching all of this, we have certain bywords that we do, and they're as old as time. The first thing is never give up.
Never give up.
Never give up. And the second rule is give everybody credit for doing the best they can. Because most people are. They don't get up in the morning thinking how they can make life miserable for you. They're just thinking how they can wake up, get up, wash up, dress up, show up, and get through the day and try to make things better. Most everybody wants to make things better. Some people get off the track, and sometimes they get the wrong directions on how they can make things better because they think of maybe making things just better for myself, when the goal ought to be to make things better for others. And that's what your ministry is, making things better for others.
And also your ministry as well, because many years ago you started having Sunday dinner, just telling, individuals, hey, stop by, get a plate of food. And you've been doing that for how many years?
Oh, I can't remember, but do you remember back in the olden days? No, you weren't back in the olden days. But back in the olden days, after church, you go down in the church basement, and some of the ladies of the church would have prepared hot food.
Yes,
and
I do remember that.
Yes,
Yes.
and you sit around after church and fellowship and eat. But now things are so automated and everything till church may be a long distance. It used to be the church was the neighborhood gathering place. That's where we started having the what was this, the Head Start program.
Oh,
That's
yes,
where
the Head
we
Start.
used to have the senior center and everything. And so the church was the center of everything.
Yes.
Now many people have to drive a long way to get to church, and so after church they get in their cars and they go away. And so what we are hoping that our roundtable serves as part of the amelioration of that distance is that after church they can come and fellowship with us and with other people and meet people that they probably had only heard about, read about, or never knew, and other people get to know them. So it's the fellowship and the meeting. And now, wait just a minute. Right this minute, I have collard greens, I have butter beans, I have pork chops with barbecue sauce in the oven, and I have 30 or 40 drumsticks in the sink waiting for me to fry them. This is a surprise, and I enjoy it, and I'm grateful for it. And when I get home, I've got to fry those chicken drumsticks.
Who's going to eat all that food? Because we just finished eating.
I know, but we have neighbors, we have people who come by, and
Yes.
it'll go away.
Yes.
We cook it to send away.
Now tell me, what is your affiliation with Civic Works and Delegate Dana Stein?
I think I met you, wasn't I walking away, Grady and I were walking away from a Civic Works event. Well, once upon a time, Grady and I and the American Institute for Urban Psychological Studies was having a leadership forum on the black child. And one of the speakers, two of the speakers on the forum were Kathleen Townsend and Dana Stein. And they announced the formation of Civic Works at our conference.
Oh, okay.
And so we were on board from the beginning of Civic Works. And that has continued until now. Civic Works is AmeriCorps and it's everything, and people remember it and think highly of it. But that was the start. And we've always loved Dana. He has always been a dedicated person. And some of the things that you don't even know about in his private life are so inspirational till it would bring tears to you. So his sincerity and his motivation, and he's not afraid to work hard. And that's what I admire. A person who is willing to work hard for what they believe in. And so the seed was planted many years ago, and he had nurtured it. He has worked through it. And I have pictures of us at the very beginning. He and I standing behind the podium. And Grady and I, we just admire him. We were there when we launched his campaign for public office. We've been to his wedding, and we watched what he has done with Civic Works. And I think that's where I met you.
Yes, yes, that is true.
And,
yes, the two of you were walking down the little pathway there, and I stopped and said, now who is this debonair couple coming down? And you had your head on cocked to the side, and I just had to speak because the two of you just looked so natural. It was like, yes, you guys speak to this couple. And that's how
it was
we met.
love at first sight.
Yes, it was. Ever since.
And your husband was wonderful, and so are you.
Thank you.
You are carrying the good torch. And Michaela was a little bitty girl, and we went to one of your events. Come here, Michaela.
Come on, Michaela, get in on this. Sit on Grandma's lap.
When your husband was having a Valentine, he was not well.
Right.
And he was inviting all of his family to come to what he considered to be a goodbye party.
Yes.
And he was such a noble person, and I loved him dearly. And you invited us as part of your extended family.
Yes.
And you had pony rides.
Yeah, that was the at the Easter hunt.
Oh, the Easter egg hunt.
Yeah, the Easter egg hunt. And Michaela had her first opportunity to ride a pony. We had ponies, we had dyed eggs, and y'all went on a...
and you took her by the hand and took her looking for Easter eggs.
Yes.
You don't
yes.
remember that, but
Yeah.
this was...
she was, let's see, you're how old now?
6
6
and a half.
and a half, and she must have been
3 and a half or 4.
Yeah, 3 and a half or 4. But she loved that pony so much.
Yes,
She wanted to take the pony home with
Yes, and you gave her the first ride, and she didn't want to get off.
That's right. That's right.
And so that you and we came out to your house one night, Michaela and I. I think we wanted to bring your husband some house slippers.
Yes.
And
yes.
Michaela and I.
It must have been 9 o'clock at night.
It was late at night, and she and I were out there because we love you guys so very much.
Yeah, and my husband appreciated that so much. And you know who he really enjoyed? He enjoyed your mother. He enjoyed the fact that you would have her at the head of the table. That's what he remembered, what I remembered the most. And I remember how John would start singing the hymns, and your mom would start singing. Your mother lived to be, what, 104? 104.
And she knew every song in the Methodist hymnal.
Yes, she did.
And John and David, Vaughn, you saw Vaughn out there.
Yes.
Vaughn was the lady in the white who came in, who was terminally ill. And her son David was a younger boy then. And they sang. And
yeah, your mom,
my mother loved to sing.
Yes, and I loved what you did for her, even in her, later years when she was unable to really communicate with us. You still brought her to the dinner every Sunday. She was there, and we just ate and sat around and we talked to her, even though sometimes she, couldn't respond. But that's what my husband remembered most, how dearly and how much you took care of.
I would go to see her every morning, and I would say to her, "Good morning, Nanny." I said, "I want to report to you that I have 3 children, 3 husbands so far, had 23 jobs, and lived in 11 houses, but I only have 1 mother. And you know who that is?" And she was, "Yeah, that's me." And then, and I love you. And then, I just kiss her and I go on to work.
Now, there's another part of history to you, because originally you had retired, if I'm not mistaken, and you were in Mexico. And
Guadalajara.
And there was a tragedy there, and you...
A home intruder came in and shot my face off. And they took me to the morgue, and I wouldn't lay down. So then they took me to the hospital. Michael, out there, he was doing his surgical residency in Philadelphia at the time.
Okay.
And so he came down, and they got a team together and saved my life because I was losing blood. And then told me, and I'm used to doing what you're used to doing.
Yeah, you were in communication.
Yes.
Yes.
And so he said, "Well, you saved your life." I said, "But I want to be a beauty like I used to be." And he said, "Well, go to Baltimore. They have the first and the best dental school in the world."
Yes.
And I came to Baltimore. One of my neighbors knocked on my door one day and said, "My name is Sister Sheila. I'm from the food pantry at Bethel AME Church, and I'm going to bring you 2 bags of groceries every day." And I said, "Oh, Bethel AME Church." I was AME in Chicago. So I went to Bethel, and I couldn't talk because my face was all wired up, and I was bald-headed. And I went to Bethel and joined, and said you have to serve on a committee, and the Public Relations Committee was the one I chose to serve on. And the chair of this Public Relations Committee was Brother Grady. And so I had to write everything because I couldn't talk.
Right.
And so that's how I met Brother Grady. And Sheila, the one who brought me the food, turned out to be Sheila Smith Dixon, who became mayor and is going to run again, and I'm going to support her wholeheartedly.
I heard
because
that.
if it wasn't for her then I wouldn't have met Grady.
Oh, that's
And
a
so-
wonderful story. And to think that the University of Maryland, how they did the reconstruction, because you know Leonard had to have the reconstruction too. They had to take a bone out of his leg and put in his jaw. And they did an excellent job, you know. So, you know, I am just so overjoyed that at 90 you are fabulous.
Well, you are fabulous at whatever age you ever become. You are fabulous because you are kind. Kindness and gentleness and love. This is what Michaela believes in. Kind, the 4-letter words. Kind, hope, love, give. And she's this way all the time.
And I appreciate her as well as you.
And
keep
she
sending me
remembers
the emails.
I will. And
as
she
well.
remembers that horse, that pony ride, because we have the picture of it.
I saw that.
And you would also have a picture of you showing her the Easter egg. Huh?
Yes, yes. Well, you have grown up, Michaela. You're now 7 years old. 6?
6.
You're now 6 years old. We're not having the Easter egg hunts anymore. But the good thing is Grandma has just turned 90 and she's spry, and hopefully maybe one day we'll have a neighborhood Easter.
Oh,
that
yes.
that would be great.
And let us come.
Yes, yes.
I have a question.
You like the Easter egg hunt?
Sure.
So ask Michaela. She's heard a lot of people talk about her grandma, but what does she think about her grandma?
Yeah, Michaela, what do you think about your grandma?
She's a great person.
Okay.
And is that you're going to grow up to be a great person too?
Yes, you're going to be just like her, right?
I think so.
What's the best thing that you like about what Grandma does?
She's kind.
Okay. She buy you candy
Yeah.
and let's see, toys. And I think I came to your last birthday party. Yeah, I had a lot of fun. I really did. So Grandma is wonderful, isn't she?
Yeah. And see, what you saw today is Grandma's not just kind to you, but she's kind to a lot of people, everybody she meets. And so we all came here because we felt the same way that you do, that your grandma is very kind and loving.
Well, I love you, and I love you, and I am blown away, just totally, completely surprised. Because before we went to church this morning, I had dinner.
I know. Yeah, I know you did. Yes.
And I was stunned, and I'm grateful, very grateful.
Helen,
And
happy birthday.
thank you. Thank you very much for taking the time and making the effort to make me feel special on my 90th birthday. I appreciate you.
Okay, we'll let you get back to your guests. Okay.